I'm Marilyn Priel at Golden Gate Park in San Francisco. We're here to celebrate the Ukrainian Independence Day. Join us for some very fine entertainment and some information as well. Stay tuned.
Welcome to The Better Part, a program by and for seniors and devoted to exploring the many facets of those better years of our lives. The name of our program was inspired by a quotation from Robert Browning. Grow old along with me, the best is yet to be, the last of life for which the first was made. Now, sit back and enjoy a program made especially to provide seniors with useful information, plus some lighter moments to brighten your day.
Welcome to our celebration of 16th anniversary of Ukraine's independence and our 8th year of the rebirth of our old tradition Ukrainian Day in Golden Gate Park. We originally started in 1964.
I'd like to introduce to you Stephanie Rokocha. She's going to tell us a little bit about the regional ethnicity of all the different costumes. And also, we want to hear a little bit about her because you have an interesting history, Stephanie. You were born in the Ukraine, but didn't stay there long. And tell us about it.
I was 3 months old when the Germans, as they were retreating from Ukraine, took all the women in the village. And my mother said that by some sheer chance, we ended up in a tank, the bottom of a tank, she and I, and they drove us for a while, and then of course you got on trains to labor camps in Germany. And after Germany, we moved to Belgium. My other family, one aunt went to the United States, and my grandmother and her 2 daughters went to Australia. So the family was separated by the war.
How long were they in the camp?
We were in the camp until I remember I was 3 years old when we left, and so most likely 3 years old. And my first memory was at that time was a soldier bringing me down from a truck, in the back of a truck, and this was in Belgium. So I was about 3.5 years old.
Mm-hmm. And then you came to the U.S.
Came to the U.S. So I grew up in Belgium in French-speaking schools, and then at the age of 12, we moved to the United States.
Mm-hmm. You are an artist. You're an artist, and you've been doing a lot of collages of different photographs you've taken of various celebrations, and also in your travels when you went to the Ukraine, and I think you went through the part of the Soviet Union at the time.
I moved. I traveled to Ukraine 3 times, and once to Russia. And during all that time, as an artist, and I became a photographer. Mm-hmm. So I was taking all these pictures, and eventually, as things started changing and Ukraine became independent and all of the political events started happening, I realized that all my pictures could be used to create
historical
art. And in that way to report. I mean, they were recording history. Mm-hmm. So I started creating collages, photo montages. Mm-hmm. And so I'm doing that right now, and with the hope of having a show soon.
Mm-hmm. Tell me about your costume. Now, you are from the western part of Ukraine.
Of Ukraine.
And with the Romanian influence?
Yes, and it is, that area of Ukraine was called Bukovina. Buk is a tree. Don't really know what it is in English, but so it's and our costumes have that part of Ukraine has been under the influence of Romania, Austria, so it kept going back and forth, and so some of the costumes reflect those countries.
What is this band along here?
These skirts are like woven wraparound skirts, and because Bukovina was under Romania so often, the ladies actually designed skirts that would be reversed. If it's under Ukraine, they would have the Ukrainian flag on the bottom.
Blue and yellow.
Yellow, blue and yellow. If it was on the Romanian, they would just turn it around, and they would have the, yes.
Oh, okay.
And so
you get 2 for the price of 1.
But it's just a wraparound skirt,
and
it's all
the
weaved.
embroidery, is that hand done?
This is weaving.
Oh, it's weaving.
Yes,
oh,
this is woven hand. They hand woven skirts. And even the shirt underneath, it's a long shirt, and the shirt is
this is
even
yes, one piece,
and it's also woven.
Woven linen.
Linen.
Oh. All right.
And all the embroidery is done with beadwork.
Oh my goodness.
And of course, then you have the Ukrainian red boots, These are boots that are used by dancers now, but you know, so they'd have the shirt in Bukovina, it's they like very varied color, bright, and also it would be embroidered all over.
Oh,
In a
that's
bag
beautiful.
and everywhere.
Now, how long does it take to make something like that?
Oh, I wouldn't know. It was
Does a
made
woman
for me,
spend-
but yes,
Oh.
it's just probably.
Is it like a little cottage industry, like
Yes.
little families working on one?
Some parts of Ukraine have, and apparently still did until recently, whole villages that would do weaving or embroidery. And some of the western Ukraine, that happened more.
The Cossacks were organized as an independent military force to protect the people and the land of Ukraine against invaders and exploiters. Those used to come very often. After a victorious battle, they would celebrate the event with song and dance. The present-day Hopak has kept many elements of the original Cossack Hopak. It is fast, energetic, showcases the talents of the dancers, the strength of the males, the grace and beauty of the females. Cossack Hopak.
Well, I'm very honored to present to you Mykola Kuchetsky. He's the Consul General for all of California and 7 other states, representing the Ukraine. Have I done it correctly?
Yes, that's right. I'm Consul General of Ukraine here in California, and not 7 but 12 states, all western part of the United States.
I really, coming from America, United States, when I think of Ukraine, I think of the steppes, the wheatlands, and I understand that Ukraine is considered the breadbasket of Europe, and I think of the Cossacks, but there's a lot more to the history than those warriors. And could you I know that there have been many border changes and many different regimes come and go, but can you tell us a little bit about the origins of the people there and how it all began?
Thank you very much for the question. Yes, history of Ukraine are very big and very deep, and sometimes very fine, sometimes very dramatic. The origin are very old. It's from 9th century. We first of all can speak about the Kiev, about the Orthodox religion, and about the territory which we are now. But independent in a new history, Ukraine is from 24 August 1991. It actually was a proclamation by Verkhovna Rada, Parliament of Ukraine, independence of Ukraine from the Soviet Union. So it's a date where whole Ukrainians in abroad celebrate the independence of Ukraine.
So as I understand it then, as long as Ukraine has been there, it only became a nation 16 years ago. It was always some way or other a possession, a regional possession of, say, Romania and Russia and all the different places. But the original people at one time, did they not ask the Vikings to come in and kind of protect them from attacking different, tribes and things like that? And then, as I understand it, then there are many regions in Ukraine that have different cultures, but yet they have the same Ukrainian language. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, you are right.
All right.
Let me elaborate a little bit. So, as I told you before, the capital, Kiev, was a capital even from 9th century. But the Ukrainians, from the century to century, from the year to year, and whole Ukraine was divided by different empire. The western part of Ukraine was a part of the Polish Empire. The other western part, which were closer to the Romania and Hungary, was a part of the Hungarian and Austrian Empire, and the center part was a part of the Russian Empire. So you see that you have one nation, but between 3 different empires. And from year to year, the border of the empires changed. And Ukrainian always was at the same territory, but divided between the different empire. And whole this nation spoke the same and speak and continue to speak the same language, to have a slightly different culture, because you understand that it was a period when you live in some with some different culture, with a Polish culture, Hungarian or Austrian or Russian Empire, and they assimilate some part of the different culture. But nevertheless, from the year to year, the Ukrainian tried to be together. The Ukrainian tried to demonstrate the homogeneous formula. They tried to present our culture, to present our nation. And this is provide the possibility for Ukraine to be the first between the whole 15th Republic of the Soviet Union first declare independence of Ukraine. We are 45 million of Ukraine, so it can be better and more, but as I told you before, it was a difficult time for our country. We will have 75 years this year, 75 years of famine, of Holodomor of Ukrainian, during which by 1 year, from 32 to 33, 10 million of Ukrainian was killed by Soviet regime. And Ukraine doesn't want to be a part of big Caucasus. They know from their father and mother what is to have a private land, what to be independent as they wanted. But Stalin decided in another way.
So thank you so much for talking with us, and we enjoyed your celebration.
Thank you very
Thanks
much.
again.
Thank you very much.
We're happy you joined us for this nice celebration today. And if you have an interest in purchasing tapes of this day or other tapes of our programs, you can contact us at the Cupertino Senior Center. That's 777-3150. We also have a website. It's www.thecupertino.org. thebetterpart.com. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.